All right, welcome back. Bernie Kratz, Tulsi Kratz, radicals, free radicals, Green Party people, whoever you are. My name is Dave, and this is the Radical Independent. Tulsi Gabbard's sister is tweeting to a prominent progressive talk show. And full disclosure, this is the prominent progressive talk show that got me a little bit fired up over the weekend. By the way, I think this guy is entertaining. I think he's funny. I guess he's a comedian, or was a comedian, or still is a comedian. Much like Jimmy Dore, he has a platform. However, I would say Jimmy Dore, if I'm going to look at the content, I would say Jimmy Dore is superior as far as the level of content and the way he sticks up for positions and isn't just all about the horse race and about critiquing this and that and so forth. I don't know. Look, I'm not somebody within this movement per se that is that influential or that important. So take what I say, as like a grain of salt, because it's really just me rambling. But Tulsi's sister here, I can't, I don't know if I can pronounce her name. Is it Vrindavan? Vrindavan, is that how you say it? I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong. She says, "Aloha, Tim." Her position hasn't changed at all. She supports Medicare for all. She also supports a person's freedom to get private insurance if they choose to. In the first debate, they were all asked if they would abolish private insurance. She did not raise her hand. Nothing has changed. So what Tulsi's sister is doing here is trying to make a point about this new thing, this new outrage from various outlets, and this gentleman apparently said, nope, can't support Tulsi Gabbard anymore because the word choice is in there. It's like they all suddenly discovered that Tulsi Gabbard was okay with people getting private insurance if they choose to. Now, everybody has come at me with, well, this will destroy the program. It's fundamentally wrong. We have public education, right? And we also have private education. Are these same people going to run around and tell people they can't send their kid to a private college if they've got the money to do so? First of all, the benefit of that for somebody who can't get an education at any college is that that person isn't in the scholarship pool. They're not in, say, the free college pool that Bernie and Tulsi both support. They're taking their own money, spending it as they want to, which is a fundamental freedom of this country. Here's the thing. Everybody keeps throwing the word socialism at me and trying to convince me that I need to start to educate myself on socialism so I can be more comfortable with the word. The reason I'm not comfortable with the word socialism is because the concept itself has an essence of takeover. Like, I'm going to take over your life. I'm going to find a way to say, look, collectively, we've all got to do X. And if we don't all do X, that thing that we're proposing isn't going to work. It's going to fail. That's BS. Because, again, if you look at Sweden, if you look at France, if you look at the actual bills that have been proposed, including Bernie's bill, Bernie Sanders' bill, okay, they allow for quote-unquote private contracts. What's a private contract? Well, it's fancy wording for private insurance, private contract. All right, and the House bill allows it. And Tulsi's bill actually doesn't obfuscate that part And so you've got talk show people saying, oh no, we're off the Tulsi train, because Tulsi actually explained her bill in a more clear and concise way. Again, you can watch my video where I explain how it works. I notice that some of the videos I do where I'm actually not just venting, where I'm actually, reading off of something where it's very specific. Maybe it's because people don't have the attention span, but they don't want to watch those videos. Look, I get mad, and it's entertaining maybe when people get mad. I was mad over the weekend at this, because this is stupid. This is just dumb. I can't support Tulsi Gabbard because she's for the health insurance, and all of those health insurance companies are supposedly going to undermine. And I said to this person, I said, well, why, the person who was challenging me, why would somebody opt in to get crappy insurance that's more expensive if they can get good insurance that's free? Because he's lecturing me about how the private insurance companies are going to offer all of these lousy programs like they currently do. I saw all the hands go up at the Fox News town hall when Bernie Sanders asked the question, would you keep your insurance or would you go over to Medicare for all? Your premium is going to go away. So you'd be stupid not to switch to Medicare for all, right? Your taxes will go up a little bit, so collectively we've all made a decision that this is a better funding mechanism than waiting for an Obamacare subsidy, which, by the way, isn't paid for. Well, technically it was sort of paid for by the individual mandate. But again, you've got a whole bunch of people who either don't want the insurance, already have insurance, so they're not paying the individual mandate. If you tell everybody your taxes are going to go up a bit, but you can now opt into Medicare for all, and that $200, $300, $400, $500 a month premium you are paying, not to mention copays and deductibles, which I'm not sure if all copays will go away under Medicare for all. My guess is there will be copays. So their logic is if it sticks around, if the private health insurance remains, then the program won't work, or people will just keep it. Look, if you've got a union plan, good for you. That's what and that's what the labor movement was all about. Increasing the quality of life, fair wages, great benefits. What? Is it envy that you envy somebody? And by the way, Bernie Sanders, for the most part, and Tulsi Gabbard, from what I know, they're both very pro-union candidates. And they should be. I mean, those people worked hard. They have these bumper stickers you drive around. The weekend, brought to you by the labor movement. Because without them, we'd be working, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, with no health insurance and no other benefits. I don't know. I think it's cool if somebody has a good plan, and they're covered, and they earned it, and it was negotiated. So what Tulsi is saying, I don't know, Bernie doesn't say this as much, so it's kind of weird. But Tulsi is saying, look, these people negotiated contracts, and all of a sudden we're going to break their contract? I know it sounds like, what's that guy, Tim Ryan, a little bit, because that's the argument that they propose. A lot of those Midwestern states, there are still unions, and they are, giving out decent benefits, including health care. And we're going to get into that old argument, if you like your doctor, can you keep your doctor? Maybe not. I don't know. This is supposed to be for people who can't get health insurance. And for people that want to save their premiums and not get health insurance through their employer. By the way, this would save employers a bleep ton of money. It would save them a lot of money, so it's a good idea. goes beyond just, well, if the private insurance is still around, are people going to want to do the private insurance still? No, the informal poll at the Fox News town hall was very indicative of how most people feel. Even Trump supporters are like, yeah, I want in on that because this is too expensive. I got all these deductibles before the insurance even kicks in. Yeah, if anything, this would put the private insurance industry on notice, and they might offer some plans that are more competitive. And if people want to opt into that, as long as they're doing it of their own free will and their own money, who cares? It becomes kind of like, well, if you're not 100% in on this and do it exactly the way we tell you to do, and see, this is the danger of the S word. When you start saying it's democratic socialism rather than economic populism, I think in some people's brains that means that you have to behave in a certain way and you're in this box, and Tulsi Gabbard is not going to be put into a box. By the way, what's more progressive? A really good solution to a problem or a blanket solution to the problem that fits in the ideological box better? I don't know. I would think it would be the solution to the problem. So Tulsi's sister calling out this particular talk show person who I think needs to get called out because it was like, it wasn't just like bailing, it was like jumping off, off the boat and just saying, bye-bye. All that foreign policy stuff, who needs it? So what? So what? You want to stop endless war. Bernie's very weak on that. He is not weak. He talks about the MIC now and then. He doesn't talk about the endless interventions. He does call a lot of these people dictators to make the people over at MSNBC happy. By the way, all of which who can't stand Bernie Sanders, so it's not doing any good. You'd be better to go full Tulsi and just say, look, we shouldn't even be there. It's not in our vital national security interests. I hear this all the time, that we need to be engaged, quote unquote, and I think Sanders would buy into some of that stuff. I think he looks at these dictators around the world and says, oh, it's a humanitarian crisis and we got to go in there and do something for these people. It's like, no, we don't. We've been doing that now for 50 years. We need to stop doing that. And this is one of the reasons a lot of people voted for Donald Trump, because he said America first, which has now taken on a new meaning, which everybody thinks is white people in America first, or whatever it is that they think it is. But most people in this country are saying, hey, what about us? What about me? What about our problems here? And Tulsi Gabbard's campaign is all about taking those resources and bringing them home. There's nobody else articulating that the way she's articulating it. So, hats off, kudos. Tulsi's sister's been very involved in this campaign. I honestly think she is the right-hand woman here, doing some great things and telling it like it is. I wonder about this entire movement. Somebody sent me a private message, and I said I think the whole thing might be a sham. Because if people are really serious about this stuff, number one, they would be looking for other options, because the DNC, this is the number one issue, by the way. If you think the DNC is going to allow a Tulsi Gabbard or a Bernie Sanders to become the nominee, I think you're kind of delusional. I will support Tulsi right till the end, because I want to hear her voice, and I want to see her voice get on these platforms, and I want the establishment to get more and more rattled so they know that we're coming. It might not be this year. It might have to wait, because they're all coronating Elizabeth Warren now. And could Warren beat Trump? She's the worst candidate to take on Trump. And if Trump wins again, look, this is just a boon to the media industrial complex. This impeachment thing, ratings, We can panels all day long about parsing words about Joe Biden's son. And I just watched a video, Jimmy Dore video, about, and I've been saying this a little bit here and there, that Biden's son, it should be part of this this realization that the whole thing is very corrupt. What Trump said in there isn't great. Does it rise to the level of impeachment? No. But now we've got an impeachment inquiry. Incredible. We're wasting so much time, people. And we are so underserving the needs of the people that need it the most. It's embarrassing. This is embarrassing that we can't get out of our own way. And that we've got the media, and we've got the military, and we've got commentators who are more interested in clicks and likes, and please watch my video. I want people to watch my videos too. But you know what? I did a video yesterday, nobody watched it. And I knew I was going to take a risk and do that video about things that you could actually impeach Trump for. But Tulsi fans are so not into impeachment, and I get that. I mean, if you watch Jimmy Dore is not going to be cheering on impeachment. But there are some that kind of straddle that fence and want to go back and forth. And no, because it sets just an incredible precedent for every other president that comes along. He writes in a memo, hey, what happened with this? And it was a very casual, sort of off-the-cuff remark. And that's what Trump does. He shoots from the hip all over the place. And a lot of times, there's bullet holes all over the room when he does that. And then you go back and you look at the evidence, and most people just think he's crazy, and I think he's crazy, but he might be crazy like a fox. This might be just luring in the media again and using them to sort of boomerang his campaign into the White House again in 2020. And what happens then? Bloated military budgets, the kind that Elizabeth Warren supports. No end in sight to this crazy foreign policy that runs around the world looking for the next theater so we can bring up more boys and girls, young boys who are in need of a job, so they'll join the military and they'll quote unquote serve their country, and then they'll come out and and then their lives will be a mess. And this is going to be a repetitive cycle. It's just going to keep going on and on. There's no end to that. Tulsi Gabbard, it would be the only one, I think, to actually say no more. I will stand here and talk to you, General whoever, and tell you no more. No more. We have to change course. This isn't helping our country. It's only helping military contractors. It's a short-term solution to a long-term problem. And it's not a solution. That's a lousy word. It's our policy. It's what we're addicted to. If you want to talk about oil or the petrodollar, all those things, they all tie into this. And this is why a Green New Deal would actually make sense. Because you get yourself away from this entire paradigm and you focus on building a green economy around, even if you don't believe in all of the climate change stuff, this would be a far better work project than blowing crap up and then going to fix it and killing people in the process. Look at it that way. Even if you thought that the climate change thing was a hoax, which I don't anymore, I used to be a skeptic, wouldn't it be better to create jobs around the idea of technology and not powering stuff with fossil fuels? Even back in the 1970s, people were saying, we got to get off these fossil fuels. Just from the pollution, the smog, those things which you could see. The carbon, nobody knew. And now here we are 30, 40 years later, and we're at a place where I think we need to start getting very serious about this stuff. But we're just kind of sitting on our hands because we're going to do the same thing. If you elect Elizabeth Warren, you're going to get the same thing all over again. So, wrapping up this video to this particular talk show person, and this person kind of was the focus of my video. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know how this helps the country. I don't even know how it helps your show. All right? I think you need to do a little research and get back to us all. And then tell us, look, I think I jumped the gun a little bit. Have some humility. The stuff that Donald Trump has zero of. Have some humility and come back and say, oops, that was a mistake. Because it is. It's a mistake what you're doing. And I'm sorry for all the rest of you who think the word choice undermines everything about Medicare for all. It doesn't. Because then again, like I say, go look at all the European models that are working out there. And there is a role. It's a small role that private insurance plays in it. And I know we all hate insurance companies, but come on. Don't get to the point where you get stupid. The only way to reform these people, these greedy people, is to tell them your role is going to be diminished. And then I think you would see more transparency, and you would see a completely different reformed industry, and really just a little shadow of its former self. But that's just a hunch. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. See, I'm first to admit I could be wrong. All right, people, I'm done. Thanks for tuning in, subscribing, watching, donating, Patreon, PayPal, all those things. I seriously need that stuff. So if you can help me out, it would be much appreciated. Talk to you later.